Very warm welcome to Be Unlimited. My name is Mark Atkinson. I'm going to be your guide and teacher for the next 5 weeks. And I just want to start by sharing what a privilege it is and will be to take you through this deeply transformative process that I've created for you with our VIP guest, Dave Asprey. And I'm guessing you're being drawn to this Be Unlimited training program because there's a part of you that senses into your potential and knows that you're not quite living at a level and experiencing a way of life that reflects your potential. And that may show up as reactivity, disappointment, ongoing stress, tension, frustration, relationship problems, low energy problems. There's many, many reasons for that. But what we have created for you is a systematic approach so that you can start to work skillfully with not only your biology, but your psychology and your relationships and life in a way in which liberates the best of you. Because you see, so many of us show up inconsistently as the best version of ourselves. We have good days, we have off days. And there is a specific way of being in the world in which we can experience this in a sense of well-being, clarity, and freedom the majority of the time. Now, you don't have to believe that. That's for you to experience. And the invitation that I put out to you at this very early stage of this training is for you to be open to the possibility that by living life in a different way, by systematically taking charge of your biology, your psychology, your relationships, and your relationship to life, by learning how to work more skillfully with your mind state, with your energy, with your habits, that in a very short period of time, you can start to experience on the inside a deeper, more quiet sense of well-being and gratitude that is there most of the time. So my background is I'm a medical doctor. I've been specializing in integrative medicine for nearly on 20 years. But for the last 15 years of my life, my deepest passion has been human potential development. And that came about because so many of the people that I worked with as patients, when I was with them, I realized they shared one common issue. And that was so many of them felt separate from life. They felt disconnected. They didn't know who they were. They didn't know where they were going. They were just scrambling, just trying to figure out this thing called life. And as a result of that, feeling stressed the most of the time, under pressure to try and figure out what is it I'm supposed to do with my life. And then that would show up as disease and illness. As energy issues, as relationship issues. And so I became really interested in how we as human beings start to find a way of being in the world in which our potential comes online. And that started with me having to do my inner work. And I'm going to be using the phrase inner work throughout this training because that's the requirement. This kind of training isn't something you can just listen to and hope that miraculously it's going to effect some change in your life. It's actually something that needs to be lived and experienced and reflected upon. So my question to you is this. Is this going to be one of those training programs that you just listen to, enjoy, but don't actually implement the practices that have been offered to you? So I'm just wondering, what's your pattern around training courses? Do you engage with them wholeheartedly? Do you start them, stop them? Do you kind of do a couple of weeks and then give up, move on to the next thing? Are you the kind of person that is always looking for the next thing? Are you kind of like how I used to be, one of those self-help junkies where you go from one workshop to another, from one book to another, keep searching, searching, searching? What if it was possible to stop the search and actually engage in just some very simple practices that will bring about what you seek? Because you see, what you seek is who you are. And who you are is beyond all imagination. And it's my job to guide you through a process that will enable you to let go of the blockages and the resistance to you aligning yourself with your best self. I also call aware presence. And at the same time, also learning how to improve your self-care, increase your energy levels, bring your brain fully online. We've enlisted the help of Dave Asprey, founder and CEO of Bulletproof, who's going to be guiding you through his 2-week Headstrong program that's designed to complement and enhance everything I'm going to be teaching with you. And so the invitation is, can this training program be different? Is it possible that you can wholeheartedly commit to this and really go with it? Or is this just going to be another training program that you do for a couple of weeks and maybe never reflect on again before you move on to the next thing? That's for you to decide. Obviously, it's my hope, because you're here, you're listening to this, that you'll give as much to this as you can, and that you'll be sincere in your desire to embrace the principles and the practices that I'm going to share with you, so that you can start to experience the benefits of this yourself. At the heart of this training program is learning to be the CEO of you. Because you see, you're not in charge of you. Sometimes you feel maybe you are, but actually it turns out really your conditioned unconscious ego in collaboration with your environment's in charge of you. See, so many of the things and decisions you make in life actually arise from the past or from other people's ideas of who you should be and what you should do. And you'll know that's the case because you won't experience an ongoing sense of fulfillment and well-being inside of you. You'll get distracted. You'll distract yourselves with a whole bunch of things. You'll self-medicate the frustration and happiness. And so you are this incredible human being. But maybe you don't experience yourself as that. And the failure to experience yourself as that is diagnostic of the need to become the CEO of you, because it's like a beautiful car. It's a thing of beauty, but its beauty becomes realized when you learn how to drive it. And so I'm going to be teaching you systematically how to start taking charge of yourself so that you can start to drive the vehicle which has been gifted to you by life, called the human body. You see, your human body is a gift gifted to you by life. And so as you learn how to take great care of your human body and learn how to work with it skillfully, and you learn how to navigate and drive the human body by intentionally using your mind, then what happens is the body and mind become aligned, and then you place that in service of life. Because is it possible that your life is not actually your life, but it belongs to life? And that is it possible that our job is to wake up to that, to take great care of this body and mind that we've been blessed with, and to align with life so that we can live life fully, that we can experience life fully and enrich life by making a contribution to life with the gifts that are at the heart of who you are. Is your mind in charge of you, or are you in charge of your mind? Are you in charge of your body, or is your body in charge of you? What about your environment? Does your environment serve you, enable you to get the best out of yourself to support your health, energy, and performance? Or does it go against that? Does it undermine all of that? And so we're going to be exploring all of this, which is how you go about taking charge of your body, mind, and environment to align those in ways in which that then you live more often than not in reality and in life, because you see, what you seek is who you are, and who you are is the embodiment of life. That's not for you to believe, that's for you to discover through this process. And so Be Unlimited consists of 5 modules. We're going to be exploring 1 module a week. The first module is called Waking Up. And waking up really is the foundations to Be Unlimited. What are we waking up to? You're waking up to what I call aware presence. I'm going to give you a taste of this now. So if it's safe for you to do this and you're not driving, for example, take a moment to just close your eyes and become aware of the air flowing in and out of your nose. There should be no effort or trying as you do this. Simply being aware. And then become aware of the sensations in and around your chest. Sensations in and around your belly. Become aware of the sensations in and around your legs. Become aware of your whole body, and then silently or out loud as you please, just say, I am aware, present. And whilst keeping your focus and relaxed attention in your body, gently open up your eyes and be here with me. And without going back up to your head, resting in your body, notice what's shifted. Now, if you're back up in your head and you're just having a good old think, just smile and you can repeat the process. But if you haven't, what you'll find is actually you're fully here. Maybe notice that the mind chatter has gone somewhat more quiet. That you feel more centered, more grounded here in reality with me. And so this is a taste of what we call aware presence. Aware presence is who you are when you step out of your head into the present moment, centered in your body. And you'll notice that when you're in aware presence, you are here, aligned with the moment. So being able to access and live from this state of aware presence is the foundations for being limited. And so many of the practices that I'm going to be sharing with you are designed to help you live more often than not from aware presence. Why would we want to do that? Because intrinsic to the experience of aware presence is fulfillment, vitality, inner peace, and inner wisdom. So much of what we seek in the outside world is actually just a quality of who we are when we step out of our head into reality. So module 1 is waking up. Module 2 is powering up. So in order to achieve anything in life, we need ongoing levels of energy available to us on tap. And so many people have problems with energies. And so there's either tiredness, or they get cranky or moody, or experience cravings or forgetfulness. And then they have to self-medicate in order to get some more energy. And what we want to offer you is a systematic approach to experiencing consistently a high level of energy when you need it. Because when you have a high level of energy when you need it, what it does, it frees up capacity for you to show up more fully and then engage with life more fully, because you know how challenging it is to do anything like that when you're feeling tired and distracted. It's really hard to engage with life when you're fatigued, when you're tired. And so I'm going to be pointing you towards a way of existing and being in which you're able to oscillate between intense periods of focus and activity when you're showing up and flowing as your best, and that is paired with periods of renewal. And that's challenging for a lot of people, particularly for those of you who are high performers or type A. So many of us have this internal momentum to keep going, and then we end up in burnout, and we have to self-medicate to calm our neurology again. And so the key is to oscillate between these periods of intense activity and renewal. The key is to learn how to support the health and functioning of the powerhouses of our body, the mitochondria. The key is to learn how to use nutrition and our lifestyle and sleep and our environment to ensure that we consistently experience a high level of energy for when we need it. But also we need to know how to turn it off as well, so we can relax, we can be present, enter into non-doing. And then so having an energy is just the start. So what we're focusing on is building biological energy, but then the key to accessing power, what I call authentic power, is to then use that energy with integrity and from presence. Because you see, power flows from presence. And so we want to bring our body online. We want to live with integrity, and that's what we're going to be exploring later on, and that's probably the most challenging thing. So certainly, if you don't want to go deep into this program, make sure you miss out the section on integrity. That's the most challenging, but also it's the most rewarding. So when we experience a high level of biological energy and we live with integrity and from and aligned with aware presence, what arises is authentic power. And that's not power over people. That's just the ability to open up and be a vessel for life to live through you with your full cooperation. And that's a game changer. Because when you live that way, fear goes. Excitement arises, enthusiasm naturally arises, and all you're left with is just a sense of gratitude and reverence for the mystery that is life. So that's powering up, a hugely important section, and we're going to take you through all of that. And then module 3, cleaning up. So the first 2 modules we're getting you ready for this, because cleaning up is really where we roll up our sleeves and we do some good work. So I'm going to start easy. We're going to start by exploring what it means to clean up your biology. And to clean up your biology is to systematically go around what we call kryptonite. Things inside of you and outside of you that undermine your health, energy, performance, and well-being and integrity. We're going to go around all of those. We're going to be looking at your nutrition, your sleep, and your lifestyle. We're going to be looking at air and water and sound so that we can actually start to craft an internal and external environment that enables and provides you with the foundations to show up consistently as the healthiest version of yourself. That's the easy bit. Cleaning up your biology and your environment, that's just a systematic thing to do. Frees up a lot of energy. But what I'm really doing is I'm getting you ready for probably the most challenging part of the program, but also the part of the program that is going to make the most radical difference for you should you choose to engage with it. And this is the psychological cleanup. Otherwise it's called recapitulation. You see, as you've gone throughout your lifetime, anytime you've resisted the experience that was coming through your body, anytime you've pushed down an emotional charge, what that did was that created a beach ball that you're holding underwater. And is it possible that one of the reasons you don't feel so good, or you don't have clarity about who you are and where you're going, you don't feel connected to life and to others, is because you have all of these beach balls that you're holding underwater? And notice to hold a beach ball underwater requires a lot of energy. And so whilst you're holding down the past, you're unavailable to the present to move forward consciously into the future. And so in cleaning up, I'm going to take you through an astonishing process that I've used with many of my clients and students over the years, in which I'm going to teach you an astonishing way to welcome and work with and release these beach balls. The consequence of doing that, it liberates energy, it liberates deep presence, and you feel free. And it's just work that we need to do. So I'm going to teach you how to clean up the beach balls. I'm also going to teach you how to identify your book of beliefs. What's your book of beliefs? It's a book you have inside of you with a whole bunch of rules given to you by people outside of you about who you are, how you should be, what you should do. I'm going to help you illuminate that so you become aware of it. And they're going to help you let go of those beliefs. Because each of those beliefs have a gravitational pull that pull you out of the present moment, that pull you out of your best self. And as you start to release those beliefs, you go deeper into freedom. You start to consistently experience yourself as aware, loving presence. So it's challenging work, but incredibly freeing work. Now the thing at this stage is that you want to check out what's happening with the ego, okay? So the ego is the survival-based part of you that's got you through life to date. It was a gift for you in childhood, designed to protect you in childhood. But in adulthood, it now becomes the source of our limitations. And so the ego is very clever. It has some ways of disengaging you from the very thing you need to hear and do in the moment you need to do it. And one of the ways it does that is through distraction. So just check in. Are you with me? Have you gone somewhere else? Are you listening to this? Are you listening to this with your whole body? Or are you kind of listening to a little bit of it, thinking about it, checking an email, looking around you? If you do notice that, Here's what I invite you to do. Smile on the inside. And then come back to me. And be with me. And then as you're with me, stay really close and breathe in the words that I'm saying. So it doesn't just become like a head-based thing. You actually feel it in your body, right? It's because what I want for you is for this not to be just another course that you half-heartedly engage. It's like this has the potential to be profound for you. But there's a part of you that doesn't want to do it. The part of you does want to do it. That's why you signed up. There's another part of you, it's like we have hundreds of parts inside of us, absolutely does not want you to change, absolutely loves you being in the comfort zone, absolutely loves you being the same old, same old. And so that part of you is going to show up, and it's going to show up as distraction or defensiveness or denial or making me wrong or getting into a story or being drowsy at exactly the moment that something's being shared that could potentially be profound for you to hear. So part of your job from now on is to watch out for this play of the ego. It's no big deal. It's normal, it's natural. Don't make a big thing of it. When you notice that happening, just smile. Oh, there's my ego, no big deal. And then bring yourself back to my voice, back to this process, back to the work. It's no problems. Okay, and then we've got module 4, growing up. What does it mean to grow up? It means to upgrade from a whole bunch of dysfunctional, immature behaviors that are remnants of the past and our childhood that are still with us in adulthood, because so many of us, particularly when we're into blame and resentment and playing games with our partners in the world, you know what actually happens? We emotionally regress. We become a teenager or a young child, and next time you're being triggered and activated, and ask yourself, how old do I feel now? You may surprise yourself. You've emotionally regressed into a 12-year-old, 5-year-old, particularly if you're having a temper tantrum. So I'm going to be showing a systematic way of actually how you go about upgrading those behaviors so they become highly functional. So that serves you not only just in terms of your inner well-being and happiness, but serves you in your relationships and serves you in your work. I'm going to be teaching you ways to reprogram habits that do not serve you and input habits that do serve you. I'm going to be talking about the shadow, all those parts of you that you've hidden away somewhere inside your psychology that are often a source of sabotage or come out, when we're drinking alcohol. Those parts that we often reject in others, that's what's called a disowned self. That's part of your shadow. And anyone who is committed to sincere psycho-spiritual development work at some stage has to realize that where the potency in that work lies with welcoming and working with and integrating those aspects of themselves that were exiled and sent away. And that's just profound work. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. It's not easy, but it's transformative. And then finally, in module 5, showing up. Having done the first 4 modules, is that then how do we consistently show up? Using the practices that we've learned. And we start to discover that actually maybe there's another way of being in the world where rather than trying to figure everything out, it's like, who am I, what should I do next? It's like, you know what, there's another way. You don't have to figure it out. You have to let go of your attachment to the part of you that needs to figure it out. And you know what happens when you do that? It just leaves this open, spacious, aware presence that you could also call life, and life will reveal to you what you need to do. What about that? So we kind of had this idea, we start off in this victim mentality, which is life happens to me, there's nothing I can do. By virtue of the fact that you're listening to this, you're not almost certainly not in victim mentality. The next level is the victor consciousness, which is that I am in charge of my life, I can do anything I want to do. And then we discover is actually to live a deep and fulfilling and rewarding life, we can go another level beyond that, which is where we take great care of our body, mind. That's our responsibility to do that. But then we can consistently, anytime we get tense or activated or charged or grasping or controlling, we let go of that. We relax back into aware presence, and then we proceed from there. It's a whole new other way of being in the world, and it's transformative. Again, that's not for you to believe, that's for you to experience. So all I ask of you is a couple of things that at this stage, in the early stage of the training program, you're open to new possibilities, and that you listen to this is like you're not scanning it for what you already know, but you're purposely scanning what I'm sharing and what I'm teaching for what you don't know. And notice that when I share this, if it comes up against resistance and blockages, if there's a part of you that pops up like a piece of toast and says, no, that doesn't sound right, all I ask of you is you soften around that. You breathe into it, you soften, and then you engage with it nonetheless. And that you adopt what's called a curious attitude. And the curious attitude is not just curious about what I'm saying, what I'm pointing toward, but really important about curious about what's going on inside of you. And then whatever arises inside of you, here's the golden rule, remember this, welcome that. So you've noticed that there's always something arising inside of you, right? There's thoughts and stories, there's emotions, there's bodily sensations, and whatever arises, here's the golden rule, welcome that. Doesn't matter whether it's fear, doesn't matter whether it's anxiety or joy or gratitude or concern or frustration or tension, the golden rule is to welcome that. And so all you do is, whatever comes up, silently say to it, welcome. I see you and I accept you. And when you do that, you align with reality, the body relaxes, and it plunges you straight in to aware presence. Not for you to believe, for you to experience. We're going to revisit that. And so the other attitude here is you just do the best you can. You want to watch out for perfectionism. Perfectionism has no place in here. Anytime you try and do these things that I'm sharing with you with tension and control, smile, soften, relax, and re-engage. So I'm not going to let you get aware of this. So welcoming is the number one Be Unlimited practice. So I want to talk about it a little bit more. See, so many of us have spent so much of our childhood and our adulthood resisting and fighting whatever comes up inside of us. So we have an experience, and most of us resist our experience perpetually. We're always trying to get either beyond it, we're trying to sedate it or control it. And what I'm inviting towards, and this is the foundational practice from this moment forward, possibly for the rest of your life, and I'm sure you'll want to do this when you see what happens to you, what happens to your mind state as you do this, is whatever arises, whatever comes up inside of you from now on, welcome it. Kind of like you're welcoming a friend into a house. Someone knocks at the front door, you open up the front door, you don't slam the front door on them if they're a friend, you don't turn your back on them, you open it up, you open your arms, you welcome. So that's the practice that I invite for you, and particularly for a lot of people I work with, you can start using it with your inner critic. So many people have a strong inner critic, a part of them that gives them a hard time. So here's what I want you to do. This is going to be so freeing for you when you apply this and apply this consistently. Next time the inner critic comes up, just notice where it is in your body. It's often around the head. And here's what I want you to do. Silently, just say to it, welcome. I see you and I accept you. You do that, remarkable thing happens. Its power goes. It relaxes. You drop into presence. You see, that part of you, all it's ever wanted is to be seen and accepted. And you, because you're now the CEO of you, that's where you're now giving it. It's been looking since it was created early in your life to be seen and accepted, and you're now, because you're the CEO of you, going to be consistently giving that. It's remarkable. The people who are being plagued by their inner critic, and the stress and tension and frustration that goes with that, they become free in a moment. And it'll come back because all these parts of us have an internal momentum like a gyroscope. So as this internal momentum, it'll come back, and the next time it does, guess what you do? You're consistent. Welcome. I see you. Then its power goes. You just plunge into the present moment. So that's for you to try. And also is like, so many of us struggle with certain flavors of experience, whether it's fear or anger or sadness. And the invitation is to welcome that as well. Fear comes up, welcome. I see you. And I accept you. Sadness comes up. Welcome. I see you and I accept you. And this is in stark contrast to what most of us do most of the time, which is distract ourselves from our experience. As you align with your experience and welcome it, doesn't mean you want it to be that way, because sometimes we can feel pretty awful. All you're doing is you're aligning with the reality that in this moment this experience is arising. It's arising within me. And by welcoming it, you know what happens? It relaxes, it releases, and you drop into presence. It's for you to find out. That's Be Unlimited Practice 1. So, in the Learning Center, I've also provided you with the Be Unlimited worksheet, and in that worksheet, I've asked a couple of questions. And very specifically, I'm asking, what is it you intend to change about your mind, your health, your inner world and experience, and outer life? I want you to have a think about this and why. So as you go through these 5 weeks, this isn't just about me sharing with you a whole bunch of practices and taking you through this transformative process. I also want that to drive change in areas that are important for you. So I'm going to give you an example of a client who went through this process and what they said. So they said the outcome they wanted was a calm, focused, confident, high-performing mind. And you're going to go through exactly the same process. So if you haven't already, print this off and maybe take about 10, 20 minutes to fill it in. And this is really important because not only are you going to identify what it is you want as an outcome, but you're going to actually explain why it's important to you. This is so, so important. Because when we take time to explore the why helps to tell us whether this is a priority or not. It also provides us with motivation to do something about it. So why would someone want a calm, focused, high, confident mind? Well, they appreciated that will drive confidence. It will help to reduce the stress they experience. It will enable them to realize their potential. Really important. This is the key. The next level to this is that when I achieve this, when this outcome comes about, what will you feel? Take time to just kind of breathe into that. In this case, happy, peaceful, a sense of well-being. It turns out that the vast majority of what we want in life is designed to create a very specific mind and mood state. And so we pursue these outside things in order to try and create a way of feeling. But here's the news. That happy, peaceful sense of well-being is a state you can access regardless of achieving that. It's unconditional. How is it unconditional? Because it's built in to who you are, which is aware presence. So we can still pursue the goals, but let's not think for a moment those goals will bring you what you want. Because what you want is who you are. So we need to do both work. We need to be working on realigning ourselves with who we are, letting go of who we are not. I'm going to teach you exactly how to do that, while simultaneously using our energy and our body and our focus to achieve the things we do want to achieve. And then really importantly, because we talk about habits later on in this training, is have a good old think about what habits are currently getting in the way of this. We're creatures of habits, yeah? These are just automatic behavioral patterns that we picked up. Why do we eat what we eat? Because that's what we've always eaten, right? It's just a habit. It's just an unconscious behavioral pattern. And we're going to start getting really good at trying to work out, does this habit serve me or undermine me? And so many of us, and you know what these habits are, have a whole bunch of habits that do not serve us, do not serve our goal, do not serve us showing up as the best version of ourselves. So in this case, this person is very, very, very common, very busy mind, overthinker, strong inner critic, and all of these things are going to teach you how to work with skillfully. And we're also going to be exploring later on exactly how to pinpoint the very specific habits that you want to change and upgrade so that you can start to cultivate habits that serve you, serve your relationship, serve life. Okay, now I'm just warming up here, but I'm giving you a taste of what's to come. And one of the things I've learned over the years is that most people aren't committed to real change. They say they are, but they're not really. And you know if you're committed because that will be reflected in your daily actions. So I'm going to help you out here. And I ask of you that you do this for yourself, which is I'm going to teach you how to connect with your deepest commitment. Because you see, when you connect with your deepest commitment, that keeps you on track. Every day provides a source of support and motivation to keep you going to do this work. And this exercise is profound. So here's how it works. So a couple of years ago, I did this process of inquiry. And inquiry is like dropping a stone into a pond. And the stone's the question. And the question was, what is my deepest commitment? What is my heart's deepest commitment? And then what you do is, as you ask that question, you let go of the need to find an answer. That's the real key. Sometimes what happens to people is they ask, what's my deepest commitment? They go straight up to head to try and find it. Your head will never tell you what it is, because a commitment is not a thought. A commitment is a whole body experience that comes from and flows from the heart into the body. It is unmistakable. When you align with your commitment, when your commitment is revealed to you, it animates you and it will be with you for the rest of your life. Okay, and that's very different to thinking, oh, my commitment is to X, Y, Z. Okay, so I'm going to help you out here. Okay, so if it's safe for you to do and you're not driving, take a moment to close your eyes. And with no effort or trying, you're going to be breathing into the area of your heart. No effort or trying, just a smile on the inside. And you're going to drop a question into your heart. Here goes. What is my deepest commitment? Let that question drop in and let go. Now sometimes you immediately get like a one-word answer come back. Other times there's nothing. That's okay. Sometimes the commitment bubbles up a couple of hours, a couple of days, sometimes like a week or two, but normally within a week or so. For the majority of people, it comes up pretty soon. And normally it's one word, a penetrating response that gets to the heart of everything. And for me, my deepest commitment was to reality. I never chose that. My mind never chose that. That commitment found me. It's been with me ever since. It's the thing that I tune into and are aware of the moment I wake up in the morning. As I go about my day, I can feel the sense of commitment to reality. I can't even really say what it is. I can go to my mind to try and make up what that means, or I can just feel it and experience it and be empowered by that. Because you see, something very powerful happens. As you open up to and receive your heart's deepest commitment for you, it then becomes a source, a wellspring of energy and motivation that keeps you on track and you keep returning to. It provides you with the fuel to do the inner work that's necessary to make this shift from the limited self to the unlimited self. And so for me, it was the commitment to reality. Others, it's been commitment to life, to love, to freedom. And so what sometimes happens at this stage, and you can check in when it's happening for you, is your head comes up with the really good ones, like, oh, I'd really like to be committed to love, because that's an amazing thing to do. Check in. Is your body alive and flowing and expansive with energy as you say that, or is it all a bit heady? If it's a bit heady, smile, let go, your commitment will come to you. And then here's the thing. When it comes to you, it's like a locking key. It unlocks all this energy inside of you, and then your job is to live that and be attuned to it 24/7. So I hope that at some time you can allow yourself to receive. Don't try and figure it out. Allow yourself to receive it, and it will hit you like a ton of bricks. And allow yourself to be floored by it, to breathe into it, allow it to penetrate deeply into you, and then live from that. Okay. So one final question. Are you ready? Are you willing and able to do the work? So this isn't an information-based course. Yeah, I'm going to give you information. It's designed to evoke a radical transformation in your way of being in the world. And you have a choice. And the choice is, do you want to engage with it as best you can? That's a yes. Or, not for me. That's a no. Now, unless you make a wholehearted commitment to the yes, by default, it's the no. You can't be half-hearted about it. So that's why I put it out there, the process for you connecting with your deepest commitment, because that will make you wholehearted about it. And all you have to do is wake up each day, do the practices that I offer, reflect on your learning experience, and particularly in those times of challenge, and you will be challenged, because that's the nature of life, right? Those are your moments to apply what you have learned, to free yourself from that reactivity. And as you start to do this work, you're going to get excited and challenged, but really excited, because you're going to start feeling more free. You're going to start feeling this experience of well-being coming online. You're going to feel much more vital. So I leave you with this. Are you ready and willing and able to do the work and to do it every day? All you have to do is just show up, engage, and do your best. And so I'm kind of assuming you've said yes. Even if it's not a wholehearted yes, that's fine. A sincere yes at this stage is absolutely fine. And so we can now move on to module 1.